Bit of an odd setup today, but felt like doing this, so that's what I'm gonna do. Give me 2 seconds to check out my chat box here. Alright, so today I'm gonna show you a bit about how I do some drawing personally. Not quite sure how well this will show up. It's got a new pencil. It's a smaller tip, but oh, I should probably fix that. Give me a sec. There you are. Yeah, my camera, I'm gonna stop the focus on it. It works good for, there we are. Exposure. Let's try this. That should work a bit better. You can see some of the papers more, I believe. Just a bit brighter. Alright. So yeah, it's since we finished the painting last week, I'm going to be well, first off, I need to make a new one. Haven't quite fully decided on what to make. Currently I'm kind of feeling like a Dragon's Crown character. I'm not quite sure which one to go with. At the moment, I'm leaning towards this one. Maybe I can flip that around. The Amazon from the game Dragon's Crown. This looks interesting enough to give a shot at, perhaps. Let's try that. See what happens there. Can I do that here? That kind of works. Looks a bit weird from my perspective, actually. Do I have to flip it both ways? This is weird. Bear with me. There, and you can actually read stuff. Okay, cool. Okay. Oh yeah. Speaking of, this was a book I bought a few days ago, a while back. It's the second one of a series that really helped shape me learning to draw. I had books and stuff before, but this series was just so in depth about how I did things that I felt like giving this one a look-see. Alright, let's see. And to start off with, I'm gonna pick up just an interesting little picture, anyone that like pops out at me. A lot of this is going over the chibi type stuff. This book in particular, that might work. Works with a lot of just shaping up the character and such. Let's go with that one. Just started off simple. Haven't quite all of this all the way through quite yet, so bear with me as I set it up. Yeah, it's a new book too, so it's a little odd. Well, as new as say, normally, I just like stick the paper in the book and draw it that way. Can't quite do that here. Alright, so I'm going to be drawing this picture here. Maybe I'll work better with a different one. But yeah, I'm going to try that one. See where we go. And one of the things I tend to do is start with kind of like the body. I don't know why, but a lot of people tend to start with like the head or such. Yeah, this camera. Let's try experimenting a bit. Give me a sec. Just a bit more space so I don't have to cram my own work area. There we are. That works. There we are. Right, but now it'll be much harder to see what I'm doing, but you can at least see what I'm drawing from. Alright, so we'll start. I guess right here. Starting at this point here. Hopefully you guys can see some of this stuff. I'm gonna see where it takes me. Alright. There's a lot of overarching lines. Somewhat difficult to keep it all organized, but a lot of it's also sketch lines, underlying body with the clothes on top, which was what this character was. These pencils don't have an eraser. It's gonna be a problem. I erase a lot. Give me a sec. I'll go steal that eraser out of that pencil. A while back, I was repairing a TV. I had to peel off a hell of a lot of stickers, and so my thumb, it's got, I don't know what exactly happened, but it's sore. It's fine, but like right here, like underneath the nail. So sensitive. Alright. A bit too sharp of an angle. Or too wide? I don't know. Using words gets troublesome at times. They never quite line up right. Alright. Alright, let's alright, there There we are. I'm scared to, like, this line here is like the crease on the shirt, right where the seam is. But this line back here is like the back of her body or some such. It's fascinating trying to figure it all out while doing it. Because like this line here is her shoulder. And then you gotta figure out which ones are ones to bait work off of and which ones aren't. Looks like this is the point where the shoulder starts cranking out. So see here, there's a very small gap, and I've got a very large gap here. What did I do wrong? I think I did this too large. Alright, so let's redo. I need a bigger eraser. Alright, so this one right about that distance. So if you go with this part here as being relatively accurate, it should be about here. That's the shirt bit. Go like that. And from here we can go a line roughly like that. Something like that would be about where we go. And a little taller. Give a swoop down like that. Alright, go up and around the shoulder bit here. I think that's a little too large. I think her arm is a slight bit smaller than that. We can go with this line here. Base some of that other stuff off of. Okay, so this. Just like that, a little in the back. Okay, and there was here, which is roughly here. That's her forearm, or at least the start of her elbow. This point comes down, and her arm goes a bit like that. So I think this is a little too large. Oh, that's still odd. It's been a while since I've actually sketched like this, which is, again, kind of why I'm doing the study here. I need to take my practice. Alright. Tomorrow I think we'll swap back to an actual painting once I finalize what I'm going to be working on. I've got a couple ideas of some of the things I'll be trying. One concept is oh, that goes straight across. It seems odd. Can't quite place it, but that seems not quite the right line. Yeah. one of the concepts I was working with for the painting is working on the landscape bit with the character sitting in front. And because Dragon's Crown has a lot of very, it should be right here. Very artistic landscapes. And I think it might be interesting in looking into that, but as I said, I still haven't finalized anything, so it's still a work in progress. I could just go and say, yeah, I'll go with this one, and stick with it, kind of like I did for this book, which I might do. This is very odd. Why are you like that? Okay, so let's take this step back, try. One of the things that helps me with some of my sketching stuff is take half a step back and work on a different spot, a different area. Alright. That goes there. Yeah. Needs a bit more of a straighter line. This one. She's got a thinner arm than what I've got there, I think. And this needs to be slightly bowed out a bit more, I guess. Just can't use that. Stupid TV. That's the one I blame for all that. I had to spend like the whole day just stripping out LED strips that were stuck to the back of the screen, the frame. It's a pain in the butt. Alright, actually, so this one has a bit of a... I could have this one a bit wrong. Yeah. One of the problems is I have trouble telling what specifically is the arm and what's the shirt, which makes it a bit more challenging to figure out. Not horribly so, but just enough to cause a little bit of confusion. Oh, and one of my pitfalls was generally starting with the body first. As you can tell, I just kind of picked it up and went from here. Sometimes I run out of space. Like the head might actually run out of room here. I might have more space on the bottom, but I just kind of pick a spot and go. And it tends to be whatever the hell it is. Alright. And so because here it's, I can tell these lines are the arm, the forearm, and I can work with them a little bit better because I know a little bit more of what it should look like, though maybe that's not the best way about it. Oh, hey Matt. Hello, welcome. from the front than the top. I think you might be right. I think it might be this shirt bit here that's a little challenging. Yeah, looking at it, that's what's wrong. These are more front lined. Thank you. I can't use my hand. Thank you. That would be the issue. And you a little bit. That needs to be a bit more scooched in a bit. Thanks, man. All right. That. And again, this is a sketching study. Much more vertical in your sketch. It is, yeah. Thank you again. And that's the kind of stuff I want to try and work on, being able to find that stuff out. It could be slight webcam angle, because it is at an angle instead of straight up and down like this. But if it was up and down, you'd see the camera shadow right here all over the drawing, which I figured wouldn't be all that nice to have. But yeah. Also, I am a little bit out of practice on sketching. So, bear with me as I get back into the groove of things. But yeah, welcome, welcome. Okay. But yeah, that weird perspective shift, like things being too flat instead of perspectived. That kind of has always been something I've had a bit of an issue with. It looks about right. If you like take off a bit, this all looks right, but then you take this right and it looks like it should be okay, but it's like kind of, I can't quite explain it, but if like this is what the picture looks like, this looks normal, this shape of whatever, and then this shape looks normal, but put them together and they're not quite there. Like I put in a gap somewhere and then like split and shifted the whole picture. It's weird trying to point that out because all the details by themselves look normal, but you take a look at them as a whole and it's all wrong somehow. This is gonna get annoying. That's you. So you go look at it kind of straight out like that. You should go more like that. There we are. From here, okay. There's the turn angle there. It's got fingers. I don't know why, but my fingers always come out looking fat and stubby, even when I don't want them to. Oh well, well, this is practice. It is supposed to be a bit more. You're allowed to make mistakes in practice. It's kind of its whole point. There we are. And over here, and with the thumb. Thumbs are always weird. They never quite turn out like you'd imagine them to be. Alright, there we are. I think that's a decent hand. Oop. Gonna get used to this. Okay, so decent hand. It's a little bit of a slimming aspect, as does down here. Alright. And it's easier to keep going once you get like in the zone. There's, I don't really know what else to call it, but you get like just kind of in there. You start seeing it. You get in the flow of things. All right. That's don't be like that. I guess we've got a spot there for the rest of the day. Alright, but yeah, you get in the flow of things and things start working out a little bit better. Can't quite explain it better. And it's this line here that is a bit odd, because this line, it's in the middle of that one. This one starts kind of halfway up this one. Oh, it starts at the base of it. What the hell? It has the slightest ever downturn. But turns up there at the end. Okay. It should have curve here. Slight rounder curve. Like that. And it really does make a crazy difference how subtle and slight a lot of lines are. It's still odd. Why is that odd? This should be up higher. But it's this is where like the brain gets weird. Currently I think my brain is trying to put them on the same plane, like this area, but in the picture they've got this slight turn to it, and so my brain is having trouble adjusting properly. Alright. But full redo. I really do need to get myself an eraser. Okay. I think this part here is okay. It seems to be roughly in line. Figuring out where that there? Would that be about right? That's about right. That's about right. That's, I think, probably the closest I'll get to it. I think that's good. But yeah, it's always the little bits here and there, and finding out what point looks different, what point should be there, what points shouldn't. Learning that little learning those things makes a big difference. It is what defines a good and a bad artist. Being able to find the errors in your drawing. Color goes like this. Oh, complete tangent. Apparently, the makers of Danganronpa have come out with a new game, but it's not Danganronpa. It's... I only saw a thread title about it or something. It was like The World Enders or something like that. Apparently, it's also a bit of a collaborative take with guys from the Nonary games, I believe, or some such. I think I'm gonna take a look into it later, get a few more details, because that sounds like an interesting grouping of people. But give me a sec. Trying to. I think there's a little bit of a stretch right here, but I think that's okay enough to go. But yeah, it looks... I honestly know nothing about it other than that they made a thing, because they can't quite well make another Danganronpa, not after what they did in the third one. But yeah, it's I don't know. Good games is starting to become a thing, few and far between, which is a real shame. I should probably work at making her hip finish up the other leg here. Alright, so that's about here, so I think that's the spot to go in. It's very odd. Very... well, that's very wrong. It's very wrong somewhere. Somewhere along the line, I made a very big mistake. Where is it? That looks to be about it. And you are the leg, the inner thigh here. A bit shallower. And there we are. See, my brain was like shifting it over. It's roughly the same line, but I had it shifted over. And it's a weird habit, and I don't quite know why. But it's something I'm trying to work at remedying. One of the other odd things I do is, like, as you can see, my picture is a little bigger than this one. Slightly. And I don't know why. I just kind of pick a size and go with it. No real grand plans or anything. It just ends up whatever size it is. What's wrong? This is too far down. It's too different. Okay, let's see. Redo time. Trying to figure out what it is. It's really easy to spot that something is wrong. The trick is finding out how it's wrong. Alright, so let's go a bit more like that. A little bit more. That looks okay. This one is looking wrong. This is always such a fun little tune whenever it plays. It really does convey a little bit of a sense of success. Like, we have done it, we have succeeded. It's still odd. Still odd. Why are you odd? Maybe it's here. Maybe this is the issue. By the way, I am open to any critiques. It's not a one-man show here. Well, it kind of is, but why is this odd? Maybe that shirt bit there is wrong. One of the things is the way I go about drawing. I know it's kind of the wrong way to go about it, but it's how I've taught myself. Like, I was using this shirt as a reference line, so this shirt line here, and then using that as a guide for the other aspects. But if that guideline is wrong, everything else is wrong as well. So I always have to check and see whether my guidelines are still accurate or not. And it's I think there we are. I think that's more like it. There we go. See? Once I got rid of that, it flowed a little bit better. It does work out to have the base down first. It generally always does. And for whatever reason, I have a lot of ease drawing the body, not necessarily the clothes and stuff around it. Probably because I try to focus a bit more on the body itself when I was first learning, because I wanted to draw people, characters, and the like. But I just can't explain how weird it is trying to do things with this thumb. Yeah, it's like I had to sit there and pick and take off like really strong adhesive on the back of a TV many times. And I think it pulled a bit of the skin back from the base of the fingernail here. And it's nothing like horrible, but just enough to annoy the hell out of you. And I hate it. I can't use the eraser because it pulls on it. There's no blood or anything like that. It's just that one spot is sore. But yeah. Yeah, this is off. One of the other things with the doing drawing is once you really like it, start getting at least decent with it, I noticed that it's really hard to probably I don't know, but it's just one of the things I also try is I'm trying to do it by sight instead of sitting here and going, okay, that's about yay big, okay, that should be about yay big here, etc. That's not necessarily cheating, because if you want a physically accurate thing, that's what you need to do. But I want to try and learn to draw by sight. But yeah, they probably will be a bit curvier. I think part of it is also just a curve is a much simplified line. Like here, he's got a bit of a flat angle here. A curve starts here, goes around, and loops out. And a curve is a very relatively simple line. Like this spot here, the one apparently started with, is actually very complicated. We've got a flat line here, a flat line here, flat line here, another flat line there, and those are all very specifically placed. And I tried my best to get there, but I also simplified a little with some of the line work, kind of like merge them together, which creates a big curve. That's at least my guess as to why it goes like that. Otherwise, I don't know. I'm trying to get it accurate, but maybe this is too low. No, it seems about right. But yeah, I welcome any criticisms on this stuff, because I'm trying to figure out why it's odd. It seems like it should be all there. I do have the that's a little extended there. That might be why. Yeah. And sometimes at some point, like this part here might be a little bit longer than it should be, which might need to rework the whole drawing there. But let's see where that goes. So we've got here down to there, and the curve starts here. but that leads kind of right back to where it was. One of the things I'm working with here is it's a very pronounced angle right there. She's got her leg twisted and at a unnatural angle, and so it's a bit difficult finding out what it should be. This one, yeah, okay, there we are. This should be a bit higher. Alright. A little thinner here? Maybe? This needs to be shorter, that's what it is. Alright, let's go with that, Oh yeah, one of the other things I was trying to say is, when you get relatively more than like a beginner, left finger stitch about half a fingernail too long. Fingernail measurements. Now you're thinking like an American, man. Quarter bit too thin? Her left or my left? This I'll go with the left leg here. Just work with that. Half fingernail too long. About a quarter bit too thin. Too thin. I actually think it's starting to look too wide. Well, let's see here. It's kind of fascinating looking into figuring this stuff out. I think also the angle. There we are. That's part of it. All right, so that's what it is. Okay. Okay, so like that, and it should be somewhere like this. Here we are. Anyway, that looks better. Not quite fully there, but a lot better. Thank you, man. Alright, I just can't quite describe how weird it is to me how this tiny little bit can change so much in how it is. Like, you get it 80% right, and then that last 20% just throws you for a loop. There you go. I think that works out. I think this one might be a little trimmer. I think that's this needs a bit more. I think that's a decent enough hip placement for it. And there's this there's this odd little phrase I read in one of the stories I read, and I've heard it mimicked in like actual motivational stuff and things. Not quite. We'll leave that. This part is slightly too long, just tiniest bit too long. But we'll leave it. Because I don't want to have to redraw all of it. This would be the part you would fix in digital artwork, because right now I've got a slightly elongated, like half a fingernail's worth of added length here. In like Photoshop or whatnot, you can just cut, put them together. Hey, look, we finished. But with traditional, you can't do that. You'd have to erase half of it one way or the other. I don't really feel like doing that right now. But I recognize that it's off. Especially since I just worked so hard to get this part proper. But there's this phrase. Thinking of it now, so of all times. But the phrase in the story, it's one where you some shonen type thing, and the guy goes into battle and whatnot, and he's apparently a bit of a martial savant in that he's not like a genius or anything. He's just willing to give up a hell of a lot more than anybody else. And the phrase he uses is give flesh, break bone, which is, I think, actually kind of a very fascinating way of looking at things. Human shapes, yeah. The human brain is very hardwired for a lot of that stuff. But I like that phrase because, not necessarily the exact way of doing it, but it's summarized in other avenues as giving up good to be great. And it's something I'm trying to work through as well, where basically in the story version, give flesh, break bone. Don't be afraid of taking a cut somewhere if you can guarantee breaking the enemy's bone, because a small cut on your arm is a lot less damaging than a crippled limb on an enemy. It's a bit gory, but it's also very sound advice. It's ideally you don't get hit, but if it's either you both get hit severely, or you can jump the gun a bit and only take less damage as opposed to no damage. It's a fascinating way of going about it. And I've tried it to some of the other motivational stuff as well, where they talk about being willing to give up a good thing or an okay thing in order to be great. And that's one of the things I personally have a hang up on. Not that I want to, but one I'm trying to overcome. Because I'm afraid of giving up what I've got. It's like, I've got this. This is what I've got. I don't want to lose this. But it might be better to get rid of an okay thing so you can make it great. And I'm being a bit of a hypocrite here because I don't want to fix this aspect here, but I recognize myself being a hypocrite and accept it at the moment, because this is a simple sketch. I'm not here to make this perfect. I'm here to learn, and I'm taking that as a point of learning. And it's one thing I'm trying to work towards, that being just more willing to sacrifice. I don't quite like the term sacrifice. It doesn't quite give the right tone thing. It's not necessarily, well, I don't think it is anyway. All that line is off. But giving up something, letting go, that's the term. Let go of something that isn't helping you in order to gain something that will help you. And it's a very simple concept. Give up what doesn't, let go of things that don't help you, and take up things that do help you. Very simple, very effective, very efficient. However, part of it is the human brain does not like letting go of things that have marginal use, even perceived use. Because there's always those guys who have a that one block of wood from, like, oh, I got this, I can save it. There's that one, I might be able to use it later, and they end up with like hundreds of these half-size blocks of wood that they might use for some other project and never do. And this is a weird hand. I think it's too short. But it's like, we always have, like, we always try and cling on to things that we don't necessarily need, that we think will help us, but actually aren't. Because in the block of wood example, it's like, we might have this one block of wood that would be useful in this one project. Or we could just get another board and have more, and have the actual perfect measurement for it. It'll work out if you try to keep a few scraps to kind of round off instead of cutting a new board, something like that. But that hand is so weird. I think part of it is he drew that hand weird as well. Mine's short and too fat. There it is. I think that, yeah, mine is too squished. But yeah, the sorry. Yeah, we try and cling on to things, and it's just weird. Oh, there we are. I want to try and get out of that habit, out of that mindset of, this is all I've got, I can't give it up. Because I found with that mindset, I tend to block myself off from options that could help me. Nope. Where are we? So you actually look a bit more like that. And this right here is one of the reasons I tend to not work on hands or feet much. I just kind of give a simplified little mitten type of looking thing, and then go on, because I was more concerned about getting more of the body correct than I was with the just repeating the same thing. Humans are also creatures of habit. Alright. It's just rather difficult getting out of said habits. Come to see the art. Well, here you are. This is the sketch of the day. I'm working at it. A lot of odd little hits and misses. So welcome, man. Welcome. Nice to see you. Yay! It's taken a fair bit of effort to get to this point. A lot of erasing. A lot of erasing. A lot more so than I normally do in sketches. But I haven't actually taken up this drawing in some time, so I'm gonna just say I'm rusty. No real fingers are horrible. Yeah. These fingers are horrible. Fingers, man. Fingers. And I think right about here is the thumb. Yeah, there we are. They're close enough. This is just such a weird configuration to it. I can't quite place it. Good enough. Good enough. But yeah, I'm trying to brush up on my art stuff, trying to work a bit more on figuring out how things work. Not quite like that. It does look good. I have to admit that. I don't try and because saying, "Oh no, this is all horrible. It sucks. I'm worthless," is not a very helpful mindset. While at the same time, I am awesome and nothing I do is wrong, is also not a helpful mindset. What I've found in my life is accepting things as they are. Yes, this drawing is actually pretty good. I'm not as bad as I probably think I am, but I don't think I'm all too bad. But finding out how things are and working off it that way is a very, very valuable skill to have. Because the way I see it, let's I think that's a little too big, too wide. Can't do that. But yeah, it's being able to recognize as it is. Because one of the examples I always use to explain this point is on a map. If you're trying to get someplace and you think you're 3 streets over, but you're actually not, you'll never get to where you're going if you keep going off odd and wrong presumptions. But if you realize, oh, I'm in the wrong spot, I should be over here instead, you'll get to where you want to go a lot faster. Because I know there are people out there. I know what I'm doing. I guess the term is Karen now. I know what I'm doing. Shut up. I know where to go. And it's like, yeah. And they're gonna spend so much time trying to prove that they're right, even though they're wrong, and it just helps nobody. Banemaker stream tomorrow? Art pencil. Central. I'm Pacific. So I think that's 2 hours off. I think 11, maybe. Oh yeah, it's Labor Day tomorrow, isn't it? I could try. Alright, cool. Yeah, I might look into that. Used to be Marvel artist. Interesting. Well, for the most part, I'll definitely try and take a look at that. One of the things is I'm not the only one who has off on Labor Day, so I could maybe it's shared internet, so me watching streams or such might interfere with somebody playing a game or something like that. But give me a sec here. So I'll have to look into it, maybe talk with them, see if they'll well, if it's just joining in on the stream, I could do that. You're not talking about like a dual stream or something, I doubt. Ex Marvel artists would want to do that with some just random nobody. But yeah, I could take a look at it. But one of the things is I don't really have any questions about art. Alright, yeah. I just lack the full-on experience. Okay. That was my initial gut reaction for some reason. It's a dual stream. I could maybe do that. But yeah, I can look into it. But yeah, I don't really have questions of how do you draw a face? How do you draw hands? How do you deal with a weird background? I don't really have any questions like that. I just want to know, how do you draw? How do you accurately portray what's there? One of the things might be creating something that doesn't exist, but again, I kind of know how that should go in the fact that, give me a sec. In that, you do the building blocks. You pull off the a little sketch figure here. Let's see if I can pull one off. This little sketch figure, and you draw the little blocks. And you just draw like little sketch doodle guy, and then you fill it in from there. That tends, oh yeah, I took off zoom. The little sketch guy there, that tends to be what my drawings look like when I don't have a reference. Like, if I were to draw this piece by piece, I would never get anything close to it. It's odd. I think part of it is, in order to do like from the ground up kind of creative work, you have to understand it. Like hell, this one right here that he drew right there. He drew the base shapes of it and then added to it. But in order to do those base shapes, you need to know what they should look like in the first place. And there's always, that's one thing that's always bugged me in like the how to draw cartoon books generally, or like little kids cartoon specials on TV, like how to draw the characters or whatever. Nope, that should be much higher. Like they'll say, okay, in order to draw this guy, draw his limbs as like bowling pins, and then have his head like a round bowling ball. And they keep trying to attribute other shapes to what it is, and that's always bugged me. Because you're not drawing the character, you're drawing things that might be what the character could potentially look like. It was always a weird oddity. And because I want to draw the character, I want to draw what it is. Like for this one, I want to draw this picture, not a girl in a cute pose. I want to draw this, which happens to be a girl in a cute pose, I guess, but you get what I'm saying. And so I think that mindset has helped me uh, become a bit of a better artist, because I want to be able to draw what it is and not what I think it should be. And this foot has been simplified. I don't know why. I honestly don't know why, but I'm actually decent at blocking out feet. Maybe because they gave me so much trouble in the past, I learned to figure out how the hell they work. But yeah, I did that perfect. Yeah. But yeah, it's and that's always the drawing things, the shortcuts to. This is all wrong. This is all wrong. Can't do it. It's always one thing I dislike about how to draw books and why they've never worked for me. It's like, in order to draw the hand, start with a circle and add sausage links, and it's like, yeah, I can understand the concept, but I don't like that. I can understand drawing from simplistic shapes, cubes and spheres and things like that, but beyond that point, like the leg here, I could draw a weird overly sausage looking link, like a hot dog here, and that's the leg, and this is another hot dog, and there you go, put them together and you have a human somehow. And yeah, it could work, but what I find works significantly and miles better is understanding anatomy. Like, it's not a hot dog, it's a leg. It's got multiple muscles there. It's got the quadriceps on this one, and they work around here. And then you've got the knee, and it's got the muscle bits there. I think these. It's been a while since I actually looked at the muscles, but yeah. And then the bicep, it's got the bicep here, and the tricep on the other side, the deltoid that runs into over here. And once you know the underlying pieces of it, and like the forearm muscles, which I can never ever remember the name of, it's like, once you know the muscles, you know how they will act. You know how they will act, you know what they will look like. And so that's what I want to try and understand. And this is such a weird. Give me a minute. Such a weird way of doing this. I don't like this angle is not natural. That's what it is. He drew this wrong. Interesting. Pick that up. That leg is horribly uncomfortable, especially the foot. The foot can't really go in that direction. Not unless you're very flexible. That's a left foot. That's the wrong foot. And see, that's also one of the things that I run into, especially when trying to draw stuff like this. From a drawing, it's flawed. So my drawing is a flawed drawing of a flawed drawing. One of the comments expressions used is, it's a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. If you've ever been in a school where they just continuously use the same sheet to the point it's no longer legible, you know what copying a copy will end up as. Right, there we are. And so that's always one thing I want to try and work. One of the main reasons I want to go to the art school I'm going to, so I can actually see the real thing. Now they have figure art. I think it's figure drawing is the term. It's too many classifications of shit. But that's why that line's weird. He was drawing the knee or whatever. I don't need to draw that. But I want to see in person, because there's this weird thing. This is a picture. This is a two-dimensional drawing. And then there's like photography, which is again a two-dimensional drawing, but there's something a bit off about it. I want to try and see it with my own eyes, but I can't quite just go out and draw people. Like, I mean, I kind of could, but it's not really a thing people do. And with the figure drawing class, you get an actual model that'll sit there and let you draw them for however many hours or whatever, and try things out that way. Because even with a picture and like stock footage, footage, film and pictures, whatever, you can get really accurate with what's there, and I probably do need to learn how to pick that all out and get used to drawing from random stock photos. But I want to learn for myself, actually experience it in person, because I can't quite place it, but seeing a picture of something and seeing it in real life, there's a difference. No matter how good the picture is, no matter how good the film, the camera, whatever, there is a difference when you're dealing with real life. And I've run into that. I can't quite explain it, but there is a difference between what your eye sees and what a camera sees. Even if it's like 1-to-1. Whoop. That was my bad. I think I kicked the bottom stand there. Yeah, it's got a tripod, and I think I kicked the bottom one there. It's not actually on the table, it's on the ground below it. Sorry about that. But yeah, this is actually turning out pretty good. I want to, because seeing it in like with your own eyes, there's just a bit of 3 dimensions there. I think that's one of the reasons why I like VR and the like is so immersive. Something else is because you've got 2 eyes there. You can do it like that, then I can't quite tell where I'm going. But being able to, I think one of the other ones is seeing something in like motion, or being able to look around it. Because like, if you have like just this picture here, for instance, just this picture here, and you try and look to the side, look around to get a better view of how it should look, you can't. It's a flat 2D drawing. But with something real, something that exists, like for instance, like this pair of scissors I got, you can look to the side and look over here and get that subtle look of how the 3D works. Instead of just having a flat line work, you can actually see how it flows, see what makes it work, and figure out a bit more about why that chin is wrong. It needs to be much further along. Ow. Doesn't work. You can look at the angles, you can look at what makes it work. And that seemingly minor thing, that's what I want to work with. And that's what I want to try and figure out. Yeah, cheek is sorts of wrong at the moment, but we'll figure it out. No, it's the neck that's the weird part. And this is also another little thing I've noticed about drawing things. Like, you can have an aspect and it's like, this looks wrong, something is off about it, I can't quite place it. And so you try and, like, for instance, like, let's say the shoulder is wrong, something's weird, and you try and fix it, but the shoulder is perfectly fine, it's actually flat on accurate. It's this color up here that's making it look like it's wrong. So if we move this color down, oh, there we go, that's it, that made it look right. And so it's always finding weird ways that your brain is trying to make you say, no, 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 it's supposed to be this way. Give me a sec, I'm working on the head here, so bear with me. It's weird anime heads. Yeah, shit. There we are. Something like that. Should be pretty close. Pretty close. Is it right? Oh yeah, duh. But yeah, it's just a bit more, and that's stuff like that. Seeing the actual real thing. That's one aspect that just bugs me a lot about some of the art tutorials and stuff that they have out there, especially a lot of YouTube videos. How to draw hands, how to draw feet, how to draw these kinds of shoes. You're always being taught how to draw a specific thing a specific way, but you're never shown how how to see anything, because that's what I'm trying to work on here. How to see anything. If you can see anything, you can draw everything, is my mindset anyways. Alright, let's see. We've got the nose here. Noses. I have the worst time with noses. I have a lot of trouble getting them looking okay. And these are just kind of like sketchy facial features here. So they're not all that detailed. But noses are tough. Noses are hard. Because one of the things is, like, your brain says this is a nose. Like, we can draw just like still weird, but oh shit, that's actually not bad. But that's the profile of a nose. Once you start shifting it and drawing in ways that are perspective, it gets a lot harder, because like your brain says the nose is this bridge, it's got these two little things off to the side, that's what a nose is. So if you were to draw, and your brain says this is what a nose should look like, this is how a nose should be, even though that's not what it looks like. It's just a weird thing. Okay, now here are the eyes. Give me a moment. Alright, a little too thick, but we'll work with it. Go from back here to here. think. And then eyebrows. For whatever reason, eyebrows are another oddity for me. It's like, I can do like simplified, just like a line type eyebrow. Kind of like it's doing here. But, and I screwed up. And learning when to stop is another valuable skill. Being able to say, it doesn't need any more. Because that's actually one of my pet peeves with a lot of artwork out there. Because little thing. Just like working on the eye here. Is when things are too busy. It's, I know, more of a kind of personal choice, but, and that's angry. That's an angry face. And like I said, eyebrows. You can do eyebrows, huh? Any tips? Any pointers, man? But yeah, if you do eyebrows wrong, it looks like they're all angry. And eyebrows are also very important to the expression. There we are. That's close. Close, I guess. Okay. Middle and work your way out, huh? That would be an interesting, a different way of going about it. I'll give it a shot. Next time, maybe. Alright, I think it goes right about here. Here goes like that. And then all that inside ear scribble bullshit. Right, and then the hair. I think we've got a hair clip like that, but more vertical than I originally had. Come back down. And let's work on the and it's kind of weird. Look, this is still odd. Yeah, this is something I do, just kind of unconsciously. What, I don't know, but yeah, that needs to be a bit rounder. I have perfectly sized this picture onto this paper. Like, it is as close to the top as I can get it, and close to the bottom as I can get it. And I did not plan that. I just kind of, I literally started with the armpit and made the whole thing fit. And it's this weird, I don't know how I do that. I don't always get it right. Sometimes, many times it's a little off and not quite fitting, like I run out of space on the head or what have you. Magic. I can't claim that much. I'd actually probably be not the best of magicians. But it's just something I noticed, and one of the things is like if you hair is weird. If I try to like, okay, draw this to scale or whatever, I just draw to whatever scale my brain puts it at. I don't intend to have things as accurate or whatever. It's just weird. It's not like weird as in, oh my god, that's crazy. It's just weird as in, why do I do that? Because I never draw to like any particular scale, large or whatever. I just draw to whatever's there. This hair is going to be so weird. it's... I notice these things. I don't quite know what that means, but I notice that it exists. I'm pretty decent at observation. That's a skill I've got, and I think that's honestly the biggest trick of how I am so good at whatever I do. I pay attention. That's what I attribute all of my shit to. I pay attention as best I can, anyway. And it's... I should probably do it the other way. And I just try and get it right. I try and get things done the right way. And it's... I see this weird... Yeah, that hair is all sorts of weird. But it's the hair I've drawn, so it's the hair we'll stick with. It's like all flowy hair. It's weird. But I pay attention. It's what I don't know. I'm focusing on hair, which has always been... Hair is one of the hardest things for me. I can deal with some of the other stuff I can do, but hair... The problem with hair is, I want to try and draw hair as it is, but I can't. I have to suggest what hair is. And that's one thing I'm trying to work on with some of my stuff, the illusion of detail. Because a lot of art is about suggesting that a thing exists. Like, this is the crease on the shirt. It's not actually there. I'm just good at sizing? Maybe? I don't know. I don't quite know what it is I do, but I just know that I do it. And I try and notice it and then figure out why, what that stuff does. It's decent, bit off in a couple of spots, but the hair's good enough. Oh, still got this bit here. But I have trouble with, because that's the very thing I take pride in, observing and trying to draw what it is. That makes it difficult to draw what things kind of look like. Because if you were to just, like, if you were to draw hair as it is, you'd have to draw like 5 million little strands of hair, which you can't do. You physically, the pencil doesn't have enough detail to get that down. And so it's this weird cognitive dissonance where it's just, I know I should do it this way, but I know I can't do it that way. And I know this is how it should be done, but I don't want to do it that way. And it's hard suggesting things. I am not good at suggestion. I am just flat out not all that good at yeah, I'm not good at poker. I'm not good at like things where it's kind of perception or ways of conveying alternate subtlety, I guess, is one of the ways. I am very blunt. I try and be very blunt. because that's how I see things being done effectively. And so trying to not do it as it is odd for me. It's like I want to draw it as it is. I think that's also part of my hang-up for why I'm wasn't able to do some of the other projects I've had, sewing and sculpting and the like. I was trying to make it as it should be, as it is, full detail, without trying to skimp on anything. But at the very same time, I had to skimp because it's not feasible to do full detail at a smaller scale. It just doesn't work that way. And so I got kind of, I guess, frustrated for parts of that. And here we are. Here we are. And more little scritches and such. I think that's actually a pretty decent little sketch. Maybe touch up some of the things down here, but not a hell of a lot more for me to work on. Oh yeah, that reminds me. That other thing I was working on. Draw it big scale and size it down. That is something I have learned for artwork, which is one of the reasons I draw like a full character on the sheet. I used to try and cram a lot of sketches on one piece, but I quickly found that they all look like shit. And I realized that drawing big, you can make a lot of mistakes. So if you're sitting here trying to draw anime face and it's this tiny little thing and you're getting it all like accurate, and you're trying to draw the person and they look like this and they have the leg over here and the arm back here running and whatnot, your drawing is about as big as your pencil there. And so when you draw small, every tiny mistake is amplified. When you draw big, every mistake is subdued. And so it's like, if I were to draw this like kind of the shirt panel here, I could draw the line, and even if it's a little off, that little bit off is not as significant as there. Like a 1 millimeter here, not a big deal. 1 millimeter on this tiny little scribble, huge. That's like half the drawing. Oh yeah. And yes, that's one of the things. It just go big, and it makes it easier on yourself. Paradoxically, we kind of have this just ingrained ability. Smaller stuff is easier to work with. When it's actually kind of the opposite. It's like, I'll just draw like a little chibi. They should be simple, right? Or I personally don't do that, but I know some people who did. And they try and draw little chibi characters. Let's see if I can find one in here. Yeah, like that. Just like these cheap little characters. It's small and simple. I can draw that. Sure. But part of it is they drew it big and then shrunk it down to make it look good. And yeah, if you'd like take this picture, and I drew it like the whole thing was way the hell out here. Like took up my whole table. And you shrink it down, all your tiny little 1 millimeter mistakes get compressed to the point you can't even see it. It doesn't exist anymore. But if you take a small picture and scale it up, every mistake is amplified. It's a weird little concept. And it is also one of the reasons why I've always had some of the issues with some of the digital stuff. I always try to draw it to scale. This is as big as it should be, so let's draw it normally, like hell, I just like take this picture, draw it as is on like a digital thing, and it never quite turned out right. It was always weird. But then it's like, oh yeah, draw it big, shrink it down, your problems go away. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I love those guys. I grew up with them, and when I was younger, I had like their backpacks and all sorts of shit. I played their game, Turtles in Time, Super Nintendo. Those guys are awesome. But yeah, little chibi guys. I've seen a couple styles like that before. Hell, I had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figures. I had these ones that like you could sit down, like bend them sideways, and they do a flip and land back on their feet, type of thing. They're pretty cool. Yeah, Turtles are pretty cool. I love the game. I don't think I ever fully beat it, but I got pretty close sometimes. Maybe I should do that one of these days. Just go pull it back and see how well I can do. I may have beaten it. I can't remember, but I just remember having to go through everything to get there. There's a lot of work. But I think, for the most part, this is done. Save for maybe a few little wrinkles in the shirt. Oh yeah, this reminds me of that point I've been trying to make for a couple minutes now. One of my pet peeves in art is when artists put like too much detail into a drawing and they just cram it full of everything they can, and that actually, I think, lessens it a little bit. And especially for me personally, because I have I went through it. I don't think I ever fully finished all the way 100% or whatever. I got 80-90% before like dying too many times. I think the big one was like BC with like that really primitive Ninja Turtle. I think he is the guy who kept stomping my face in. But yeah, back to this stuff. I've got a lot of wallpapers on my desktops and whatnot, and I cycle through a few. I think that was his name, yeah. Yeah, I think that was him. At least in recent memory, it's been decades since I've had and played the game on the console. Apparently, they actually have an arcade version of that you can buy, like this little mini arcade cabinet, like actual one that you can stand up and play multiplayer, which is pretty cool. It's on the Walmart for like $200 or something. It's more money than I'm willing to spend on something like that, but it's pretty cool that they've designed and worked with that. Oh, yeah, getting back to this point. These people have drawings and they cram like every little nook and cranny with as much little detail as they can, as many stuff as they can cram, and it just feels too busy. But at the same time, if they have nothing there, like for instance this picture, and I just have like a white background, it's okay, but there could be more. I've always found that there's like should be a middle level of detail that fits just right. There's one picture. Let's see if I can find it, maybe. And show you guys. Yeah, I've got this giant folder of all my artwork. It's my dad told me years ago to yeah, it's not there. It should be over here somewhere. To make just a big old stockpile of artwork to reference from, and so that's what I did, and I literally named the file the stockpile, DASTOCKPILE. And it's been that way for years now, and if I find a neat picture, I dump it in there. Find something that looks kind of neat, dump it in there. I've got thousands of pictures in there, completely all unorganized. It's organized by alphabetical, and they're all like based off numbers and shit. I know I've got it somewhere. I'm probably gonna miss it, but I could potentially go through it with you guys, but there's a couple, like literally like 3 or 4 that I won't be able to show you guys. I don't remember where they're at. Just for something minor, because you know how YouTube and Twitch and all that shit are. Where the hell is it? Where is this? I know it's here somewhere. I think I passed it. Yeah, I did. Oh, well. But yeah, it's one of the weird things is with this big old stockpile thing I've got. I kind of memorized it. It's weird. It's like sometimes when I need like motivation to go try something, just see something new, try a different something or other, I'll load up one of the pictures and then just randomly go through next, and I know it's coming. Yep, seen that. Okay, the next one is gonna be that one. And it's weird. It's like literally thousands of pictures. I haven't memorized all the details in the pictures, but I've memorized to an extent the order they're in, and I don't quite know why I bring this up, but it's just this weird aspect. And yeah, I'm not gonna be able to find. I don't remember where specifically anything is, but I remember the order they go in when you're watching them. It's weird. Like if you were to tell me, okay, what number is 867th picture? I have no fucking clue. But I know the series of events that will get me to the one. Okay, yeah, that one should be about a few dozen more down, and there it is. After that one should be so and so. And it's weird. The mind works in weird ways, and yeah, it's like that's the thing I've got where I remember and memorize the most stupid, inane, and kind of useless shit, but I'll forget tomorrow is somebody's birthday. Tomorrow I need to go pay off this bill or whatever. It's like I forget that. That's not something I should forget, but I don't pay attention to those. It's weird. But then I pay attention to the memorized organization of these books, these pictures, all these weird little details. But yeah, this is, I guess, the finished drawing for now. It's relatively simple, not all that bad. I still can see the elongated chess piece there. And it's not quite accurate. I think I flipped the camera digitally, so it's like a bit backwards for me. But I think my legs are a bit longer on the drawing, and he has a much more perspective-oriented view. I've got a much more flat-on type of view. I think that's what he was working with, high-angle composition. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good. A lot better than a lot of people can do, but there's still room for improvement. I know there could be. But yeah, that's I guess that's my first drawing stream, I guess. One of the things I have a lot of ideas that just like flow around, and I don't know how well they'll take off, but I'd like to try and do some more artwork type stuff. And I've got a drawing tablet. I've had this for years, and I originally got it, oddly enough, to try and draw a logo for my business I was working with. It came out okay, but I am not the best at fonts, and I didn't quite know what I wanted, and it was hard. Yeah, it was. I designed a logo and it looked okay, but it still is just weird. And I've come to realize I don't need to do everything. I can outsource things to people who are better than me. And my logo and such is one aspect of it, because I was trying to learn fonts and ways to draw things and how to make things look good. And it worked out, but it didn't sit right with me. And I set it aside, went back to it, and then I changed my name, my business online name, to Looking for Craft, wherever the hell it is on the stream. Fonts are nice, they can be, but the thing for me was I wanted something a bit more fantasy oriented. It's actually a very simple one. I think I paid somewhere between like 60 to 100 bucks on this thing. It's a relatively cheap, but not bottom of the bucket. So I can do digital stuff as well if I get any of that shit set up, but I have used it for 3D modeling, which made a hell of a difference. I could not have done any 3D modeling without it. But I was looking for a font, because I grew up with Blizzard and Zelda and like things like that, and I liked their style, their feel, not necessarily the style, but the feel of the font. Like I can remember like the original Blizzard font, Blizzard North, the Diablo, Legend of Zelda. They've got this bit of a feel to it, but part of it was the Diablo Blizzard stuff was too ragged, too, I guess one term would be savage-ish looking thing. And then there was Zelda stuff, but that was too rigid. I wanted kind of a flowing aspect to it, and none of those fonts fit that bill. There were other ones where it's like World of Warcraft for that type of font style. Too gaudy. It was very gold, very metallic and plate, and I wanted something that flowed, sort of like a fairy tale, but not as mystical. I could not ever place down what exactly I wanted. I had my best shot at it, but it still wasn't quite there. But I could not, and I still can't for the life of me, explain what it is I want. And part of me does question if I even know myself what it is. Because what is it do I want? Because I have a couple of other concepts. I had this actually I think I've got them around here somewhere. Give me a sec. I've got a lot of, oh, there he is. I've got a lot of stuff piled up here, so give me a minute to get them. Ignore those zills. But I've got this guy. This was a character I made for actually my senior project in high school. He was a video game character. I did not draw this. I won this guy in a free raffle type of thing. The artist is Lizzie Bean. I'll show you here, but he's like a futuristic space duck, whatever, and he's powered by crystals or some such. He's honestly one of my most unique concepts I've ever come up with. Never quite seen anything quite like him. But one of the things was I had the concept of his whole race is powered by crystals and bullshit. But he's kind of a honorable knight with a bit of a savage streak, and I came up with a weird idea of like what would their music sound like if they were all crystal based. Could you have a tribal battle music powered that sounded like crystals? And because whenever you talk about like crystals or whatever, hell, like this music that's playing now, that very light, high-pitched chime, it sounds kind of crystal-like. And whenever you're in like a game with crystal caverns, it's very like serene. And it made me wonder, could you have a high action war based sound from crystals? Bells and things, yeah. Could you have that be like opposite ideals and whatnot? And it sometimes I wonder if like the font I'm looking for is one of those things that the things don't quite mesh right. They're like they go an oxymoron. It can't quite exist. I don't know. So just an odd little thing I've thought of every so often. Every so often it comes back and I think about it and I wonder what it might be like. The other, because at some point I'd like to try and commission some musician to come up with something like that, a battle made crystal song, because it just doesn't seem like it would fit. But I'm curious as to what it could sound like. I don't know. But anyway, that is going to be it for today. I think the plan for the coming week is I'm gonna sketch out a something on the canvas. One of the Dragon's Crown characters. It could be something like that. I don't know where I would find it or who would even do it or whatnot. If you find one, let me know, because that could be cool. But yeah, I'm gonna sketch out another painting. I think I'm gonna have like this be an art month, and then afterwards jump into Higurashi with art bits at some point. I'm not quite sure how it's gonna go, but the plan is I'm gonna go on art binge for now and see where it takes me. And so tomorrow we'll pick up with some painting or sketching, something like that, and see where we go. Anyway, see you later, guys. Bye bye.